Welcome to a new episode of People and Tech. Today, an absolute treat. Voice on LinkedIn, a mind on LinkedIn, a curator on LinkedIn, someone who has single-handedly influenced the way that the world of work is seeing society, someone who has undoubtedly made contributions in that area that in the workforce can be pointed out every day. Karen Ferris. Karen is one of the most well-known change and strategy consultants in Asia Pacific, I would say, and it's someone that I have immense respect for. Not only is Karen always clued in on the latest and most accurate statistics that show leaders how they should adapt their leadership towards resilience, towards flexibility, towards an agile mindset. But Karen has a deep comprehension and understanding of the entire helicopter view of the workplace today and the big questions that need to be answered. So if you have a chance, please pick up her latest book. Please subscribe to her newsletter on LinkedIn and follow her, because there is little more erudite and intelligent, heartful curation that you can find. I hope you enjoyed the episode, and I hope you come back next week, because we have an immensely big treat for you. People who have also shaped the lives of those around them in the region, people who have written books, people who have changed the minds of entire generations of academia. Come back to People And Tech next week, and thank you for listening to us. We hope you enjoy my heart-to-heart with Karen. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another edition of People and Tech. Just me today. Dave is away talking to clients, and he was very disappointed because our guest today is someone that he absolutely adores, reads regularly. She is someone who has shaped opinion in the world of work. She's someone who has changed organizations for the better, genuine influencer, and someone with so much curiosity and love for the people topic that you will be hard pressed to find someone else. So welcome to the show, Karen. And I will add a little intro right before that, and also leave people with a link to your LinkedIn, because there's loads that they have to learn from you. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be here. It's been too long.
It has. We've been talking about this for many moons, but we haven't quite gotten to it from any point of view. You've written a book, meanwhile.
Yes, so I've written another book. So this will be my 8th book. Three of my books are tiny little wincy ones that business books, but I keep getting told, no, you should count them. So yeah, this one is called Be Remarkable, Learn to Unlearn a New Leadership Mindset. And yeah, I'm very, very proud of this one. It's
beautiful. I love its cover as well. I saw it earlier, and it's absolutely lovely.
Yeah, we had a bit of a debate about something that might just jump out and set people, but yeah, it's about being a leader that's different, and I think that's just, we have a leadership crisis as far as I'm concerned right now. We've had it for a while, but it's just got worse. Absolutely.
We have had the leadership crisis, not reading out my book, but that's several chapters on leadership crisis, emotional intelligence crisis. We have a mental health crisis. We have so many, but this one, at the leadership level, like Karen says, is that hopefully the one where we can make most change the fastest by just inspiring people. Is that what the book does? It will inspire leaders to say, you can be more courageous, and these are some things that could help you.
Yeah, I mean, the expression, it was in my head for a while. And I think it was, post-COVID, the realization that we have many leaders, not all of them, I use leaders loosely, but many leaders who just want to go back to how it was pre-2020. They're back into the office, sitting in wings on seats, command and control, micromanage, and I'm like, hold on, we've had a major shift. We've had the most successful experiment in the way we work ever. We should be embracing this as the biggest opportunity we've been presented with. We didn't have to do anything. It did it for us. And we're suddenly getting this backlash. And I'm like, we've got leadership. We both pre-pandemic, but it's okay. It's just dinosaur-like. And that's why one of the subtitles is Learn to Unlearn. Now, I didn't come up with that phrase. It was a guy called Alvin Toffler in his book Future Shock 1970. But it really resounded with me. It's like, yes, we learn. It doesn't end there. We have to be brave enough to say, I need to unlearn. What stood me what said yesterday is no good today. And that's tough because you're like, well, I've just spent 10 years developing my skills as a leader and now you're telling me they're irrelevant. And I'm like, yes, they are.
Or 30 years. Or more years.
Yeah,
indeed.
Yeah. So in essence, by having a growth mindset, and I think we've got so many leaders with fixed mindsets.
I think this is a really interesting one. And maybe, when I address people from this podcast, I try to think of who I'm talking to. It's really difficult. You really have no control when you put something out there as to where it lands or not. But I have met, and you have met, hundreds of these people. Who I haven't met, hilariously, is I run another podcast called Tales from the Fintech Clip. And we had access to the very top of the CEOs of everywhere. I still haven't met all the hundreds of thousands of execs that have made the hundreds of thousands of bonuses and disappeared. I don't know who those people are. They're a very special breed that no one has really ever met. Maybe they keep to themselves. But the rest of us, yes, we all want to do good work. With that said, I would also like to kill but we are doing our best vein of thought that keeps happening, because these two things have to be separated. We cannot say them in the same word. It will be bad for us as businesses. Then secondly, as you said, we had this handed to us, these results. We didn't have to make these big checks. We didn't have to take a big decision. No one lost a job because they said, fine, you can work from home. It happened for you, big exec. Right. But what we have now, and I want everyone to remember, is leaders are accidental leaders. The vast majority of leaders we have are accidental leaders. There's a minority. They're non-accidental leaders. They are career leaders. They are possibly worse. Because in a sense, these people have come from very regimented business schools that told them that command and control is the only way. They even taught them very fixed processes in which to micromanage. It's very difficult to make those people to learn anything. In fact, if you're a real CEO listening to this and you've noticed some of these people around, move them. Because in all honesty, find something else. Maybe they're a big saxophone player, or they can do APIs. Give them something else, because the leadership they're doing is probably not going to serve it. But everyone else does want to learn. As Karen says, and here's where we are, we have to unlearn. What's the first step to unlearn, though? Do they not need a whole lot of balls to unlearn first?
Yeah. I mean, it's got to be that wake-up call that to realise, and however that happens, whether that's feedback from other people, from the teams, from colleagues, whatever it might be. And this is the big kicker. It's that wake-up call to say, yeah, what I knew yesterday is not going to enable me to lead today. And once that happens, then the rest just falls into place. It's okay. I need to relearn. I need to get rid of what I knew and relearn. So, reaching out, finding what new ways, special ways of leading, what employees are asking for, etc. But it's that recognition that I need to change.
That's acceptance. That's first place, right? That's the case for anything we want to do in life. Leaders are not stupid. They know that most leaders have fought with addiction. They fought with self-discipline. They fought with very hard life moments. Let's face it, we've all been through very hard things. We know they have to work harder. These people bit. I don't even need to say it with more desperation. People know they have to relearn it. The resistance now and the denial now has to cease. Unfortunately, we've delegated as leaders this task to other people, and we hope HR or someone else will deal. The beauty of it is you can still delegate. Many of the things that Karen and I are talking about are going to depend on your teams. Are going to depend on each and every one of your people having this same moment, and you're going to have to raise them through it, right?
Yeah. Absolutely. And I think the biggest example of the fact that leaders are stuck is that, in 2020, and you've heard me quote these as before, Duena, when global surveillance software of employees went through the roof in March 2020. The global demand went up by 80% compared with the same time next year. So that's telling me I'll call them bosses. Bosses are like, oh, I can't see them. I need to monitor their keyboard strokes because that will tell me that they've been productive. Everybody else knows that that's bullshit. It doesn't matter how you kick. And I say to these people, if they're not productive remotely, they weren't productive when you could see them. You just thought they were. And that mind. And then now we go, you need to be back in the office Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Why? Because it doesn't make any sense. And they're quoting productivity and they're quoting culture and they're quoting nothing that holds water. And it just, to me, it's just lots of stupidity. And everyone can see it. And there's got to be some fallout at some point. I mean, we're all very safe boys kicking back.
Right. And that's it, probably, right? That could be it. That could be what's going to completely separate. Is that the new generation coming into the workplace will not stand for this. They will not stand for coming in. They will not stand for being disrespected. They will not stand for not being seen as different and needing adaptation. They will just not work for you.
Not being small. I mean, if you are monitoring people, you are saying, I do not trust you. And who has to work for an organisation that says, I don't trust you? Come on in, I don't trust you. I mean, you see the dig back at, Dell, where employees have been threatened with, pay cuts and no career progression or whatever. If they don't come back into the office, the 50% have said, no,
It's fine.
Stuff you, I'll take the pay cut. I'm happy with my flexibility.
Exactly. I like that there's almost, I see a big surge, actually. I see people saying, fine, you're okay to not want to understand who I am, but this is who I believed I am now, and I'm going to do that. And I think it's commendable because it is in a bad market, and we have to be honest that jobs are rare because people are holding on to them dearly, and that's probably part of why we see no innovation and no intelligence coming into companies. But also, so it's obviously a very scary thing to say, no, I need to be who I need to be. But the beauty of it, I think, is we see it move. And, it's day to day. I have some podcasts when I'm so downtrodden that people are like, but come on, Duena, it's going to change. It's only going to be 15, 20 years that we've been saying this. It's not only 15, 20 years to me, because I've run out of life to attempt to change this industry. But I know that in the grand scheme of things, it is a small moment. And I also say this a lot, but I think it's important to realize making technology was a small moment, I believe, in the world development. We only had to make it by hand as humans for a while. Given 5-10 years, that's not going to be the norm. And for the ones that sit there and attempted desperately to make it work, we are collectively burnt out. We are tired. We are fed up, and we are very soon, unfortunately, going to be cast aside. So I think we're looking at several things in the workplace that I don't know that HR professionals are as afraid of as we are on the outside. Like you say, everyone knows. Every HR professional is aware there is a crisis of leadership. There is a crisis of VQ. Nobody does any human work. We just pretend BAU works. And everyone is aware the emperor is butt naked, but no one is courageous enough internally to do much. They don't have the money to do much. There's a hope. There's a generalized hope. Maybe we can come back to set point, which is insane, like you said. So, but also, new generations coming in, existing, those of us that made digital completely burnt out and about to become farmers because we've had enough. The whole of ex-technologists that are wanting to be a plumber, that's their day job. But maybe one day they can direct people to doing something real and physical, you'd be surprised. But so all these things are happening, and obviously the pandemic, and the worst thing that's happening that we don't talk about enough at all, and it just does my head in it. The context. Where do we live in? We live in a world that's disintegrating physically and emotionally and psychologically, right? So there's trauma all around us. There's no matter how far you guys are slightly potentially feeling further away, but in the States, in Europe, there's a lot of conversation about where do we live so the atomic bombs don't hit us. So I'd like us to remember that still as parents and as humans, we still live in this same political climate that hate our children, wants to bomb us, is attempting to.
Yeah.
And then we go to work and we pretend everything is fine from Wednesday to Thursday when they told us to show something on the screen. It is an insane convention. What can we do to breakfast?
Oh, that's a big question, isn't it? It's a big question. I think keep saying to people they have to ask, and I'm not sure if this is answering the question, but keep asking why. Why am I doing this? Because I did it yesterday? No. Why am I doing this? What value is it adding? What purpose does it deliver? Because I think we do have all this going on in our lives. And you're right, we go into sit in front of a screen and then we go, okay, it's all gone away now. It's like, no, it hasn't, but what am I doing? What purpose is it serving? And I think that's the biggest question that people just have stopped asking. Like, why? Why are we doing it? Yeah.
Taking out this because questioning purpose feels frivolous when people are in survival mode.
Well, I think it's, because people want to, go knock down and go into, a safety, whatever that feels like, and not ask the questions. Because it's like if I said to, for example, going back to the returns of the office mandate, if I said to the boss, why? And they said, it's our culture. I'm like, no, culture doesn't live in a building. So why? Oh, well, you'll be more productive. Well, sorry, research says I'll be more productive at home. So why? So you keep asking those questions. And I know if I did that, I'd probably be escorted out the door very quickly.
Well, that's the second question anyways, because they know best.
So, I keep saying to people they need to keep asking why, but they're like, whoa, it's going to rub the wrong way. And we know it is. So, but unless we do, because I think the powers that be, those bosses, unless we keep asking why, they're not getting that wake-up call to go, do you know what? These people are actually right. It's not about culture. It's not about collaboration. It's not about productivity. If people want to go into an office, it's because they want to, because it's intentional.
Because it's human connection.
It's because they want to connect, not because the boss said. Because the boss can say, come in on a Wednesday, they'll call it connectivity. And I could go in on Wednesday, be surrounded by hundreds of people and be most lonely and isolated ever.
Like we all do on Wednesdays. Who hasn't had 100 Wednesdays like that in an office?
Yeah, so it doesn't just happen. It doesn't just happen. It has to be intentional. So it's about, people need to call these bosses out.
Yeah.
And keep a bit of question. And hopefully, but that takes courage. I know it does. But unless we do, there's not going to happen. And some of them will make that, some of them would probably just say, culture, connectedness, productivity, because they've been told to say that. That's the lie. Yeah. Just tell them that that's why we need them back in the office. And when someone asks why and has that conversation, not as an attack, but just say, come on, really why? Why are we going down this line? That the penny will drop. And that person goes, do you know what? You're right. Let's sit down and have a conversation about how we will work going forwards. And that's what I hope will happen. But my hope, this is my day that this is ever gonna happen, I mean,
it will happen. I just don't know if it's going to be on my stuff.
Examples out there. I mean, and this, a global company now, but Australian-based Atlassian.
Mm-hmm.
They've got this sorted. And well, I say that, they say they haven't. They're learning every day about how to work. And, they have Team Anywhere. They have offices that nobody has to go into the office unless they want to. But there's a percentage of occupancy in their offices is quite high because people have chosen to. So, and there are parameters around where people can work or whatever, but basically, you can work anywhere you like, when you like, how you like.
So they had this opportunity to create freedom framework, and they took it. Well, to be fair, Atlassian and many other companies in Australia, I say this sometimes, the companies that were born digital first.
Yeah.
The companies
Yeah.
that were later to come in, they came in, to be fair, with smarter principles, and the really
Yeah,
smart ones
absolutely.
kept on to them, and they didn't amass
Yeah.
human debt, of course, right? So we were talking the other week with people who are, kind of, they have scale organizations. They have unstructured, I'm yet still unclear how unhierarchical organizations really work, if I'm honest, because I've never worked in one myself. I get the theory, but I don't get how it works in practice. Probably doesn't. But that's just, sorry for anyone listening. I think what we see is that, and as soon as you said that, I want to catch up to it. Personal responsibility, and we say this a lot, that's probably why people don't like us as much. There are those consultants that always tell you that the bosses are a piece of such and such, then you should cater. And those consultants do a lot better than we do. We don't do that. What we do, Karen and I, is go, no, you got to do some of this work yourself. I'm that serious. You got to start working on it. You got to figure out how to be more courageous. You got to figure out how to kind of hold your wits and still elegantly explain how you feel and why that's important. You gotta get involved humanly if you want them to come back to you.
Yeah.
Nobody liked that message because human work is hard.
Yeah. But the thing as well is that, and especially said it to our Jacob Walden a while ago in one of his books, or for one of his books. And he said that most people get into a people leadership. There's lots of types of leaders, and I say everyone can be a leader, but for people leaders, people get into people leadership role in the late 20s, generally. The first development they get as a leader is in the late 30s, early 40s. So that means they've got nearly a decade where they don't get in the morning and go, I want to do a bad job. They want to be the best they can be, generally. There might be the exception, but generally people want to do the best they can. But with what? I've had no guidance, I've had no coaching, the only role model I've got is the bad boss that went before me. So we've got this perpetual cycle. Say that leaders need to be, empathetic, empowering, give people autonomy, adaptive, all those sort of things. But we need to provide the help for leaders to do that. It's all right saying it and they can go, yeah, I probably do need to empower more. But there's a lot of it.
Yeah.
It's not easy.
Wait, there are hundreds of conversations you and I have had where people go like, oh my God, that is absolutely true. And now what? Yes. And that now what is a good question and a hopeful question. Have I always seen it followed up by those leaders where they genuinely care and genuinely put anything in practice? No. And another thing is, we have to remember leaders don't stay. What we were saying earlier is the very job we do not know, and we don't go to Davos. The CXOs that have worked their assets off like we have when we were CXOs, we know that they have barely put their lives together and they're trying to find the next career move. So if your project and your transformation happens to live with them and they are your only hero and the only person that has made, and I have seen hand on heart, at least 4 people change a bank. Personally, themselves, each person change their bank. I don't want to name names, but it's very possible. So if you have that massive agent of change that you've been empowering yourself with your beautiful box and the resiliency work you've been doing, how do they spread it quickly to produce an army so that we can all help leadership go, no, we're all humans, what the hell do we do together?
That is a really good question. And how do we? And I think we need to, part of it for me is writing a book and doing, podcasts like this and all the stuff that I do on LinkedIn. And I think the challenge is, as someone said to me, all the stuff you say is really good, but the bad part isn't listening to what you're saying. But people listening to what you're saying are all going, yeah. The person who really needs to hear you is probably not listening. So
they're hearing you, though, Karen. They are hearing you. So eventually they listen.
Yeah. And I think it's just keep chipping away at it. And I think doing it through various mediums at every level of organizations. So, talking to people on the front line, talking to, middle managers, talking to just hopefully the conversation will eventually get some sort of momentum. The someone goes, that's what's next.
Right.
Let's grab that. Let's do something. And the key message I keep trying to say to people as well, start small.
Besides, I think you're very exactly to
Got,
say,
20 things, 20 traits a leader should have today. Like, I'm not expecting you to go, I got that's 20 a lot. Pick one. And
I
just
love that you
start.
said start small, because I think this is what really clarifies people, right? When, do you and I and everyone else say there is a way in which you could all go home, come back in, and make a better world? Yes. Are we telling you you should do that? No, because we know you cannot. You are not equipped, and the world is not equipped to do that. So what we're telling you to do is chip away. And the chipping away has never been just theoretical. You know, there are those academics out there that just want to talk about the topic. I don't. You don't. I know people that don't. We just want to do things, make them better. So
Yeah.
there's to-dos, there's softwares, there's workbooks, there are resources endless if you just genuinely want to do things. And like Karen says, pick one thing as a trait. Then in this one and in many other books, there are 20 ways in which you can query your culture today. They're not mine. They're from Spotify, Ron Westerun, Amy Edmondson, yourself, and everyone else. And just do these 20 things. Figure out what you're doing. We have given you all the things that we would be selling you, and you don't want to buy it for free already. Just do the things.
It's like I've been from workshops with leaders, and that I spoke about empowering staff. Moving can be micromanagers, and they know they are. They're happy to actually say it. They go sort of, I know. But they see this move to empowering people to big jump. And I'm like, no. Let's start small. Pick one task that's really low risk. So you're not going to, if it goes wrong, it'll be all right. And pick a member of staff that you can say, Mary, I know I need to change my leadership style, and this is what I'm going to do, and I'd like to work with you and get your feedback and blah, 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 blah. And give Mary a small task to do, empower her to give her clear goals, deadlines, reporting, regime, whatever it might be, and get out of the way. And they come back and they go, that was awesome.
That worked.
But because that worked. It didn't backfire. Mary's really inspired, is reaching out for the next thing. I had more time on my hands.
No.
So then the next thing is a bit bigger. And it's all about comfort zone, isn't it? Each time you step outside your comfort zone, the comfort zone gets bigger.
Right.
You keep expanding it until
how to do. This is amazing. Just that minor thing that you're teaching them in that is a combination between learning how to delegate, creating a human connection, and being humble and vulnerable at the same time. So that's an incredibly powerful act you could do tomorrow in any of your one-on-ones. Where are the one-on-ones though, Karen?
Sorry?
Where are these one-on-ones where they should talk to Mary though? But let's face it, we knew when we started all this, all people need to do is genuinely, open-heartedly talk to each other. Yeah. And it's become harder and harder in the workplace. And that's the main...
I think one of the biggest things leaders, and this is, history, but you get put into a leader position, and somewhere there's this unwritten rule that says you now need to know everything. I've never seen it written down, but there's people who believe it. And they go, I can't say I don't know. Oh. But the great leaders of the world that say, I don't know the answer to that. What do you think? You're my subject matter expert. What do you think? How do you think we should do this? And to you and me, that's just common sense and conversation. But for a lot of leaders, that's showing I'm vulnerable. I'm seen as vulnerable. And Brené Brown said, vulnerability is not a sign of weakness, it's a sign of courage. It's absolutely...
And she said this 15 years ago. I was going to point this out. I was literally going to say this, that Brené Brown has been telling these people on Netflix, not like you and I, on LinkedIn in a corner. And she is eloquent, and she's lovely, and they adore her, and she has New York Times bestsellers. Have you seen anyone do anything about it much other than say, I will be vulnerable? Once, as a leader, I was scared of a donkey. Now you guys continue having psychological safety. Goodbye. We will laugh because otherwise we'd cry, right?
Yeah, I think so. But I think it comes down to that. And we have to be resilient as well in terms of just chipping away and chipping away. And it's like you say, we could go, well, Granny Brown with Netflix and documentaries and bestsellers, been saying this for 15 years. Well, it's changed. It's just,
It's been
I've made books. Nothing's really changed, We have to keep that belief that
have to try.
things can get better. Yeah.
And I think I find myself sometimes, it's this them versus us, people who are still employed versus people who are on the outside trying to talk at them. And we all think the grass is greener on the other side. And let me tell you, it is a lot greener on the other side in some ways. In some ways, it is hard. You don't want to be there. But either way, look, when I was back in my former life, I made software for financial technology. When you talk to these incredibly terrified bank executives who have managed to stretch their lives, and I know how it happens, to the point that if they don't bring 100,000 a month home, they die. It happens. It happens very easily. It's common, actually, jokes aside, for anyone who doesn't know, please check the work of Yale on this, and check the work of the Virgin Institute on this. People get very easily used to whatever amount of money they bring in, and they leave as long as they have this thing. So it is very possible that execs are under humongous home pressure. And also, let's also be honest, there's something I didn't say earlier. There's intersectionality. There's not only the pressure of bringing money, there's also the fact that I know statewide mayors is who we like to hate these days, and we do, but not all of them are affordable. And a great majority of them have gone through horrible trauma, and they are going through life attempting to generate economy while being suicidal. I think that's a massive thing we need to start looking at sometime yesterday, because not nice to have that happening, to put it mildly. It's like we have a new slavery layer, as they do sometimes. But if we have all this, and the answers are, we can't do big rewards. We're not capable. Let's face it. I made it the first 15 years ago that said, no, you could have people come in like they should and have perfect peace. People were like, so we're not doing that. And we're not doing big transformation projects. That's something I wanted to say and to ask you. What I see in Europe and what I see in England, maybe it's different in America, is there are zero big transformational projects still happening. We're done. We're good. We're transformed. We don't need digital. We don't need DNA. We don't need it. We're good. But even if you don't do one of these big things, the popcorn experiments that check how people working together can increase their collection. The popcorn experiments where you as a human being listen to Brené Brown again and try to hunting. Those things cost nothing. They're only encouraged from you. And we know we're talking to people who have read us for 15 years since we said don't buy IBM. Really keep if you're still in, keep the faith. And many of you who are listening to this are not still in. You're out and you're probably burnt out and fed up and don't want to even listen to this stuff again because we're already doing so well and nothing changes. But there is change. I feel like the new generation will pull us by the ears. What do you think happens when they come in?
Absolutely. I think it's refreshing, because I think that there's going to be, there's going to be big pushback. I think, the generations that are coming now, and employees in general, but coming and saying, I want work-life balance. I want, yes, of course, salary and benefits is a given. Always will be, has to be, because we all want standard of living. But tax stability, work-life balance, environment of trust, a good culture, career development, a progression. I want to see, before I start, I want to see where I could go. These are all the things this generation are looking for. And it isn't to what we looked for, I looked for when we started a job. It's all very security. And they're like, so I'm just going for another job, gig economy, whatever. I want to work from wherever I can work. That's the nature of the jobs, because it's very different expectation. And I've written about this recently, about the gap between what employers generally think new and talent want and what talent wants. And there's a massive gap. And it's like, why is there a gap? Because you're not talking to people. It's like, if you're doing if you're trying to recruit talent, surely you go and find out what they want so that your organization can deliver on that. To me, it's 101 stuff, but they don't. They just assume. There's a big assumption that we know best. So I think there is going to be pushback. I think we just have to watch it happen, and I'd like to help it happen as well, to make that turnaround. And maybe it's that pushback is going to be that catalyst that makes the leaders that need to change go, the wake-up call.
It's time. It's time. Yeah. It's time. Or get out. Because I just feel like it's much earlier that they get out. When I was young, which was very, very long ago, it feels like, but maybe not, 15, 20 years ago, when we got into banking, the word was, they're going to have this spaghetti, horrible thing for another 10 max, because this guy got to get out. I mean, this is not going to be forever. This world is out on anyways, and they're not going to do anything until they disappear. But those people were 70, Karen. They were not our age trying to change the world and be done. They were just hanging on to seats. I don't think those people are there anymore. I think we have a new generation of people hanging on to seats out of sheer fear and paralyzation of what in the hell do I do with this much human debt I have entered here and try to do my best. But what I'm looking at is a massive cultural fuck up, and I don't know where to start. And I think that's what's burning people. I think there's also, like I said, the intersectionality to existing context, life drama that's not discussed. It does my head in. We've just recently went through some horrible episodes, and I've realized that many in particular are absolutely disallowed from ever showing the weakness of I'm sad, I'm desperate, I'm all kinds of things because things are happening to me. And equally, the proportion of men who live with this, with broken families, not being able to see their children or in dire need, is humongous, in particular in our segment. So I think there's just so much we need to do fast. The new generation can do it for us, but we're not done. We cannot leave them with this. We have to lead them to bed with better.
Yeah. And I think we've already said this, that help is out there. The resources are there, the people to reach out to say, how can I do this better? How can I make a difference? How can I make a change? It's all there. It always has been. It's about having the courage to say, I need help.
How much does it cost, though? Again, let's be honest. If you and I are a mid-sized enterprise and someone says you need a cultural transformation, we'll be like, first of all, F off, do not. We are great. We are amazing. They talk to us, they ask us why 50 times, and they go like, maybe they're right. Let's do it. What do we need to do? The impression would be, do we need 500,000 and to sit everyone down and to tell them command and control, now we're going to change and do human work? Obviously, no. That is not what you're going to do. That is not a thing. Don't buy those decks and those beautiful presentations. Someone was telling me yesterday that when they lost the contract to Ernst & Young or someone or other, it's a general big name. The buyer asked them, but you know what? I didn't buy the real guys, but I don't want slides. And the answer was, I don't want PowerPoint slides. And the answer was, well, we have crazy as well. No, I'm sending you in a PDF. That's where we're at, right? So it's Historia and our partners, but it happens to all of us. Like genuinely, we have created an industry where the big consultancies are the only one trusted, and they're also the cheapest sometimes.
Yes, absolutely.
So it's hard.
I think one of the challenges as an independent consultant, and I've talked to other people who found the same, especially COVID, is that there's a lot of, this diversity around. And, if I go into an organization, say, right, here I can help you with, some leadership capability uplift. And they're going to go, no, I'm going to go to one of the big names. I don't have to name any of them.
Like I did, maybe I get sued, who knows?
And the reason why is because if it all goes pear-shaped, that person could say, yeah, but it was...
It wasn't there.
It was Deloitte. Yeah. You name them. Not picking on any of them. They can say, well, it wasn't my fault.
Is that same nobody gets fired for buying IBM? It's that same one.
Through the Karen Paris, So I think that's another thing, I think. Always go with the big boys because I'll feel safer.
Yeah, and showing this knowledge is not as I remember being the small software company who was in the same situation. We were competing against the really big software companies, and we were saying, "Oh, but the thing you made is better," and whatever. But the real back then, you could at least say, "Look, look at the proof, look at the see, more money, more stuff. These days, you can show proof of more money, more engagement, better lives to almost whoever you like with very little result, which is scary to me. Like I say, a crisis of courage everywhere. And things just, I don't know what, because I don't have it most days either. And I'm sure all of us wake up going like, it's her courage and her bravery and change. Let's just make it through. In those days, that's fine. But the days that you have any courage, let us know. We have like literally hundreds of just here 3 pages of things you could do for your life to be better.
Yes.
See my work. Give them a shot. Read, please, what Karen said. Please subscribe to her amazing newsletter on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
You learn so much. The way I found Karen, that's a good story to tell everyone, is because I think Karen is one of the remaining few genuine, intelligent curators out there. I don't know if she manages to read as much as she used to. But back in the day, anything that needed to be known, you could get it out of Karen. So please read and buy her book. And reach out because she can help you make that change. Thank you so much for coming over, Karen, and hopefully we'll have you again.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.